What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 4 of the Thermaltake View 31 build log. Sorry it's taken me so long. I've actually had this completed for a few weeks now, just have not had the time to sort of run through this and sort of complete the build log series. I apologize. The build, I would say, it's finished. I do plan on changing a few things about it pretty soon here. I'll go over that, but for the time being, it is a completed build. So I think last we left off in part 3, the loop was installed, but I didn't have the custom cables in, and I did not have any of the sort of decorative panels on the outside, as well as the little screen down there. So I'll just kind of run over that stuff for you guys, give you a brief overview of, kind of my final thoughts on the completed build. Yeah, and we'll just kind of go from there. But I'm going to go ahead and take the camera off the tripod and remove the tempered glass so I can actually give you guys a good idea on what's going on here. So let's cut to that. All right, so let's go ahead and get in tight here and go over some of these things. I'm going to go ahead and start off talking about the little LCD screen here. This is not the first time I've done this in a build. Build I did back in May, the Silver Fox build that you guys can see on the channel, also had one of these screens. I'm a little bit disappointed. I was having issues with IDA64 on this PC. I suspect it has something to do with the fact that this is my son's PC and he has a tendency to accidentally install things that he shouldn't. So it's not really reading the temperature sensors properly, or most of the time not at all. I would normally prefer to use IDA64 to build a custom OSD to put on this screen. I was not able to do that, so for the time being, this is just CAM. These screens just function as a second monitor. You can see there's another HDMI cable going into the back that runs down to this. I'm going to do a completely separate video on the screen, how to install it. It's actually really easy, but I think it deserves its own video, so just stay tuned for that. But as you can see, I built these panels here. I've got the one going down one side, one going up the other. They're at a slight angle just to kind of make things interesting. And then this one here, I'm not really sure if I like the way it turned out. I tried to kind of do some angles and some designs that sort of match with the motherboard, but I don't know. I don't really like it 100%, so I might end up changing that, and then, added some more of that brushed sort of dark silver back here. There's only 2 light sources in the build. I've got an LED strip here, and then I've got one running down here, dark side as usual. I don't know if you guys can see this, if it shows up well on camera, but this is a brand new light strip over on this side that illuminates the majority of the stuff in the background. And then I've got one down here to sort of uplight the card, but I feel like the color temperature on the LED has gotten warmer over time. This one is one that I used in a previous build, so you're getting a real clean white light in the back of the case, and then the card is illuminated with a little bit more of a yellowish glow. So I think I'll end up swapping that one out just to get cleaner light throughout. So you guys already know what's going on with the loop here. I talked about that in the previous build. I did get the cables done. I went with a really clean, just all carbon, nothing fancy. Again, I wanted to stick with the theme, which was mostly kind of a metallic monochromatic look. Right now I've got Mayhem's X1 clear fluid. I think that I'm going to switch to either a pastel white or the new Premium Chill View white when it becomes available. That's kind of where I'm leaning, but for the time being, this is fine. And then just to kind of take you around the front and show you, I've got the premium, or I don't even know what they call them, pro, premium, whatever, the Thermaltake ring fans. They look pretty good. I think I'm going to swap those out for the white Corsair ML120s because I want to add a little bit of white into the build because my son's setup in his room is kind of a white and black sort of setup. So I think that's probably the direction that I'll head. You don't really, honestly, when the case is set up, you don't even really see the front fans that well, so it's just kind of a waste. I'd rather just look at the inside here. So I've talked about this in almost all of my build logs from previous builds, but I just kind of get creative with acrylic panels, cut them to shape, skin them with vinyl, use mounting tape. I mean, there's just a whole lot of things you can do with that acrylic that can really clean up the look of the build, especially on the back panels of the case, so that you don't have to see all of the unused mounting points and holes and that sort of stuff. It's extremely cheap and easy to do. I highly encourage you guys to, try it out yourself. But yeah, aside from that, I guess there's not a whole lot left to talk about. I can go ahead and pull the back panel off and show you guys what we got going on back there. As I mentioned in part 3 of the build log, I didn't spend as much time with custom cable lengths and cable routing as I normally would because for one, I was on a time crunch. 2, this case has a ton of space to route cables behind it, so it's not extremely important as far as fitment goes. And 3, I was kind of already on the fence about whether or not I was going to keep these fans, so I didn't want to cut up those fan wires and that sort of thing. So I kind of jammed a bunch of stuff back there. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. As far as the front goes, there wasn't really much left to talk about other than the panels that were installed, the lighting, the screen. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the back. Alright, so real quick, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but as you can see, this is not by any means what I would consider a... I mean, it's pretty good for what it is, but this case has got a ton of front panel connectors. A lot of that stuff you can't really mess with as far as cable lengths go. There's, 1, 2, 3, 5 fans in here. Just one lonely little SSD is all we really need for this build. I do have, power already if I want to slap another one in here. And, the beauty of these 2.5-inch drives is you literally just, stick some mounting tape to the back and stick them wherever you want. They don't necessarily have to be mounted in any sort of drive cage because there's no moving parts. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, there's a ton of space here. I mean, that's over an inch to work with back here. So I believe that, I think you're supposed to be able to mount hard drives back here, but you can see where I cut away some of the case here to, sort of, this is where that 24-pin cable normally would have routed through. And as you can see, the motherboard even overlaps a little bit, so that had been real tight there. So that's why I went ahead and cut the case up so that I could route the cables further away from the board and get that real nice arch to the cables that you saw. I didn't bother doing a custom cable for the motherboard. I might come back and do that just for cleaner routing, but being on a time constraint, this is fine. You don't see it. So yeah, but that's that. As always, guys, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, leave them down below. I will try my best to follow up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.